Hey everyone, this is Monica from Real Food Keto. I thought I'd do a little introductory video today just so you can learn a little more about me. I think it's easier to tell who a person is by seeing and hearing them versus just words on a keyboard or phone, as most likely it is anymore. So, I'm 28 years old. I live in Kansas City, Missouri. I have been married for about 6 years. I am not someone who has a traditional job. I am a housewife and a farmer. I lost my job just a little after my husband and I got married, and I had never been the kind of person who was like, oh, I definitely want to do this or that. Didn't go to college for anything because I could never make a decision. So I was like, well, I'll just be a housewife for a while and see where that takes me. And as I was doing that and kind of taking a break, still kind of looking for a job, I started doing research about where our food came from. Health and nutrition had never been something that was important to me. I'd always been overweight. I figured you could die, walking across the street. What I eat doesn't really matter. So I started doing research. Started hearing organic, words like organic, pasture, pasture raised, pastured, all sorts of things. And I was like, what is this? Why is this important? So I started looking at documentaries. I watched Food Inc. I watched some undercover footage by PETA of how animals are treated at factory farms. And I was like, well, I have to change. I don't like this industry. I don't think I can go vegan. I knew my husband was definitely not going to go vegan. So I thought, well, if I'm not going to do that, then I have to change in another way. So I was like, I guess I'll just do it myself. I can raise animals. I love animals. I'd happily raise them the way I think they should be raised. And it'd be a win-win situation. My husband was a little skeptical and was like, wait, you want to get chickens? We talked about it. I think honestly he thought it was going to be just like, knitting. Like it was going to be something I did a little of, but I wasn't consistent with. It was just, something I was going to grow out of. And I was like, no, I really think this is different. And so we agreed that I would get some chickens, try it out. If it didn't work, then that was the end of it. It wouldn't go any farther. So I got chickens and I kind of fell in love. And chickens turned into goats, which then turned into having goats as your own milk animal and raising chickens for meat, which led to, it just all came together. I started gardening and doing all this stuff so we could raise as much of our food as possible because I didn't like how farms were so industrialized now. From 2014 to 2015, my husband was working second shift like he has done almost our entire marriage. And because with farm animals, you have to let them out when the sun comes up and you have to lock them up when the sun goes down. I was getting up at 5:30, 6 in the morning after having only slept for about 4 hours. Go do that, take care of milking, come home, go to sleep for a little bit once I could go to sleep. And so I slept, honestly, 4 hours at a time. So like 4 hours of sleep, 4 hours awake, 4 hours of sleep. And add to that, I've always struggled with insomnia. So sometimes I couldn't go to sleep. I just wouldn't go to sleep. I'd be awake for a really long time. And that led to, obviously, a miserable, exhausted existence where I couldn't keep on top of farming as much as I would want. So we had this huge garden and these goats to milk and these meat chickens to raise and eggs to be gathered and all this stuff to do. And I was sleep deprived. And so we started going out to eat more. My weight kept getting more out of control. And at some point, I like to but I like to share knowledge about where food comes from because I view food as such an important part of our lives as humans. We eat for energy, we eat for health. Like as a woman who is a housewife, I take care of what my husband eats. I don't have children now, but when I have children, they'll be dependent on me to make wise choices to build their health and their future health. And I was wanting to share this knowledge with other people, just friendly, not like shoving information down anybody's throat, but just like, did you know that Animals in factory farms are, you know, like a pig that's raised in a factory farm never ever goes outside. It never gets a breath of fresh air. It never sees the sun or feels the grass. And that is important to me, and so I'd like to share that. At the same time, I was exhausted. I wasn't eating right. We were so consumed by getting work done at the farm. We were tired. Our weekends were devoted to that. We would go get fast food or go out to eat or just whatever. It was just getting to the point where I realized that although I was trying so hard to be self-sufficient and I was trying to raise my own food, that I had gotten to the point where I was being a hypocrite. So I was like, okay, this has got to stop. I knew a low-carb diet had been successful in the past. I learned about keto. It lined up kind of with, it lined up really well with how I believe we should be eating in general. Though I think there's always exceptions to every rule. So what's perfect for me, it might not be perfect for you, and that's okay. So I learned about that, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna start this, talk to my mom and my husband, and do you think I can do this diet and really limit my diet this way? And they were supportive, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Started on a Thursday. We went and bought 1/8 of a cow so we wouldn't be relying on supermarket meat anymore. And I encouraged my husband to go to a first shift instead of second shift. So I would be able to sleep at least 8 hours a night was what I was, heck, 6 or 7 would be great. And all of this came together, and honestly, it was a changing point in my life. So we're at a place where we're eating good, local, healthy food, though not all together, you know. I don't know if I'll ever have a diet that is 100% pure, but I'm trying. I've lost weight. I'm more energetic. I feel better. And, you know, I feel like this entire thing, this introduction to who I am, is all about food. But honestly, it's one of the most important things in my life. Both where our food comes from and how it affects our health, and losing weight and feeling better. And it's just honestly a huge part of who I am. So in future videos, I'm going to go into a little more detail about the ketogenic diet, my story with weight and losing weight. And then I'll also probably do a video, I know, about farming and how I farm. I think a lot of people assume that, oh, she is a farmer and she's milking her goats. That means that they're being horribly abused. And farming isn't always like that. And so I want to talk about that as well. So anyway, that's who I am. My favorite color is blue, if you'd like to know that, and pizza is definitely my forever favorite food. Also, long walks on the beach, but I guess that's a video for a different time, isn't it? Okay, anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed and it didn't put you to sleep, and hopefully you'll hear from me again soon. By all means, like, comment, subscribe, share, or do nothing and just enjoy what I have to say. Thanks. Have a good day, guys. Bye.